She was 14 years old. She still had her braces on. And when investigators finally found her, she weighed 71 pounds. Not because she was small, because of what had been done to her. Welcome to Darkness of Beneath Crimes. Subscribe right now before this video goes any further, because what I am about to tell you goes deeper than anything you have seen reported on this case. Every fact, every detail, every layer that other channels skipped over. And once you hear it, you will never forget her name. Her name was Celeste Abigail Rivas Hernandez. She was born September 7, 2010. She was from Lake Elsinore, California, a small city roughly 70 miles southeast of Los Angeles. She was a regular girl. She had parents who loved her. She had braces. She had a whole life ahead of her. And she had a secret that prosecutors say cost her everything. Before we get into what happened to Celeste, you need to understand who she was connected to. Because this case does not begin with a Tesla trunk. It does not begin with a tow yard. It begins with a girl who disappeared and a world that kept moving like she never existed. His name is David Anthony Burke. The world knows him as D4vd, a 21-year-old platinum-selling recording artist. The voice behind the viral hit Romantic Homicide, a song that reached over 1 billion streams, a face that sold out concert halls, a career worth $11.5 million, an artist with everything to lose. And prosecutors say he knew exactly what he was losing. On April 18, 2025, D4vd performed at Coachella. Thousands of fans screaming his name. Stage lights. Cameras. Fame at its absolute peak. 5 days later, prosecutors say a 14-year-old girl was dead inside his house. Think about that number. 5 days. Between the biggest stage of his career and the worst crime of his life. 5 days is all it took. Now let me take you back to where this actually started. Because the timeline of this case is not just disturbing. It is methodical. And that methodical nature is exactly what makes it so difficult to look away from. As early as February 2024, Celeste's family began reporting her missing. Not once, multiple times. She kept disappearing and reappearing. She was a teenager. She was vulnerable. And she had connected herself to someone who prosecutors allege had been exploiting that vulnerability since she was 13 years old. Prosecutors allege that David Anthony Burke had been engaged in an illegal sexual relationship with Celeste Rivas Hernandez for over a year before her death. She was 13 when it allegedly began. He was 19. And the relationship, according to evidence presented in court, continued until the night she allegedly walked into his home for the last time. In March 2025, just weeks before her death, Celeste sent Burke a text message. She wrote, "All we do is have sex and just hang out, man. I want more than that for myself." That is a 14-year-old girl trying to walk away. That is a teenager trying to reclaim her life. And prosecutors say that decision to walk away may have signed her death warrant. Because if Celeste walked away and told the truth, $11.5 million disappears overnight. The record deals evaporate. The tour bookings cancel. The endorsements vanish. Everything David Burke had built, everything his entire management operation had been profiting from, collapses the moment a 14-year-old girl speaks. So many people were making money off of him. So many people had financial stakes tied to his name and his image. Murder for financial gain is one of the special circumstances attached to these charges. That means this case is eligible for the death penalty. Now let us talk about the night of April 22, 2025. Celeste and Burke had a lengthy, heated argument over text messages that evening. Back and forth. Tension building. Something escalating between them that night that left a digital trail prosecutors say tells its own story. The following night, April 23rd, Prosecutors allege David Burke sent an Uber to Celeste's home in Lake Elsinore. He did not go pick her up himself. He sent a car. A car sent 70 miles to collect a 14-year-old girl and bring her to his $20,000 a month Hollywood Hills home. She got in that car. She made that 70-mile journey. And according to prosecutors, she never made it back. Prosecutors allege the killing happened between 10:10 and 10:30 that night. A 20-minute window. That is all it allegedly took. 20 minutes. And then she was gone. But here is what David Burke allegedly did immediately after. He sent Celeste text messages asking where she was. Asking why she had not shown up. Asking as if he did not already know. Prosecutors say those messages were not confusion. They were not concern. They were calculated. A performance written in advance for future investigators. A storyline planted in a phone for someone else to find later. Then he got in his Tesla. At 12:04 in the morning, he called her phone. While driving north. While allegedly driving away from where her body lay inside that house. He called her number and let it ring. Then he drove toward Santa Barbara County. Along Highway 154. A mountain route. Isolated. And months later, Celeste's passport was found discarded on the side of that exact road. He drove back. The next night, he threw an album release party. His debut album, Withered, dropped April 25, 2025. It entered the Billboard 200 at number 13. His career was exploding in real time. And prosecutors say while the music played and the money flowed, Celeste Rivas Hernandez was in that house. Already gone. Now pay close attention to what happened next. Because this is the part that separates this case from anything you have heard before. This is the part that reveals exactly what prosecutors believe David Burke is. The morning after Celeste allegedly died, April 24th, he ordered a shovel. Not days later. Not weeks later. The morning after. Delivered to his door via Postmates. Then on May 1st, he ordered 2 chainsaws from Amazon. May 5th. A body bag. Heavy-duty laundry bags. And a blue inflatable kiddie pool. All from Amazon. All delivered to his door. All purchased under a fake name. Not his name. A name prosecutors say he invented. Victoria Mendez. A name that does not exist. A name designed to leave no trail. Then on July 7th, under that same fake name, he ordered a burn cage. A device designed to incinerate material completely. He ordered a burn cage. While her parents were calling police. Filing missing persons reports. Begging someone. Anyone. To find their daughter. He was on Amazon. Methodically planning how to make her disappear forever. Now let me tell you what prosecutors allege happened inside that Hollywood Hills garage. Because this is the detail that stopped the courtroom. This is the detail that made reporters put down their pens. This is the detail that Celeste's parents could not bring themselves to sit and hear. Prosecutors allege that David Burke dismembered Celeste's body inside that garage. To contain the blood, he allegedly used the blue inflatable kiddie pool he ordered on May 5th. He placed her inside it. Then he used the chainsaws. And when investigators forensically examined what remained of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, they found blue plastic fragments physically embedded in her remains. Not near her. Not beside her. Inside her. Forensic analysts matched those fragments directly to the inflatable pool. The pool purchased May 5th. The pool purchased under a name that was not his. He then allegedly packaged what was left of her. Her head and torso went into the cadaver bag he ordered. Her arms and her legs went into a separate black garbage bag. Both bags went into the front trunk of his Tesla Model X. And then he left her there. For weeks. Possibly months. Decomposing in the heat of a Los Angeles summer. Inside a sealed trunk. While he performed concerts. While his album charted. While he collected paychecks. while her parents filed police report after police report that went nowhere. But before he sealed that trunk, prosecutors say he noticed something. Celeste had his name tattooed on her left ring finger. A matching tattoo. Something that connected them. Something that could identify her. Something that pointed directly back to him. So prosecutors allege he cut off her left ring finger and her left pinky finger to sever the connection between them physically, the same way he had already severed everything else. Those two fingers have never been recovered. He had her name tattooed on his own left ring finger. In red ink, the name Celeste. Still there when detectives arrested him. Still on his hand, while she lay dismembered in the trunk of his car. On July 29, 2025, surveillance video captured David Burke driving his Tesla for the last time. He parked it around the corner from his house. He walked away from it. His iPhone 16 Pro Max, which had been connected to the Tesla system, disconnected from the vehicle that same day. That phone has never been found. The Tesla sat, illegally parked, baking in the summer heat, until September 5, 2025, when it was towed to a Hollywood tow yard. 3 days later, on September 8th, workers noticed something wrong. An odor that did not belong. Something that forced them to make a call. LAPD Detective Joshua Byers responded, obtained a search warrant, opened the front trunk. Inside, a partially unzipped black body bag. Inside that bag, the dismembered, badly decomposed remains of a human being. The tissue was liquefied. There were insects. There was so much decomposition that forensic examiners needed a full week just to confirm who she was. Her face could not be used for identification. Her fingerprints could not be processed. They ultimately used her dental records, because there was not enough left of her face to use anything else. But the dental records matched. And the braces were still there. She was still 14 years old. You are watching Darkness of Beneath Crimes. If you have stayed with me this far, hit that subscribe button right now. Because what I'm about to tell you next is the part every other channel completely missed. And it changes everything about how this case is going to play out in trial. Now let us go inside that courtroom. Because the preliminary hearing that unfolded over 5 days in Los Angeles gave us something no camera was allowed to capture. No phones. No recording. No live stream. Prosecutors were there to prove one thing. That enough evidence exists for this case to go to trial. What they laid out in that room was unlike anything reporters covering it said they had experienced before. On day 2, an LAPD criminalist testified about what was found inside that Tesla when it arrived at the Piper Technical Center after being towed from the Hollywood tow yard. 11 air fresheners. Not in a glove compartment. Not forgotten in a cup holder. 11 air fresheners spread deliberately across the interior. The center console. The back seats. The rear compartment. And inside the front trunk itself. That detail is the one that matters. Someone opened that trunk after Celeste was already in there. Someone reached into the space where a teenager's decomposing body was sealed in bags. And placed air fresheners on top of her. To cover the smell. To buy more time. To keep driving that car like nothing was wrong. 11 air fresheners is not a coincidence. 11 is the number of times someone opened that car and thought about what was inside it and decided to keep going. On the brick flooring of David Burke's garage, beneath black rubber mats, LAPD criminalists using luminol testing found blood. Not on the surface. Beneath the mats. The blood had seeped through the rubber and down into the brick underneath. The kind of seeping that takes time. The kind of quantity that does not come from a small cut. That blood matched Celeste's DNA profile, and when the LAPD criminalist described the statistical probability of that DNA match belonging to anyone other than Celeste, she used a number in court that made the room go quiet. A figure with 24 zeros after the first digit. 24 zeros. There is no mathematical language that makes that coincidence. There is no defense argument that erases 24 zeros. But investigators found something else in that garage that has not been fully explained publicly. Something that nobody expected. Jugs of fake blood. Multiple jugs of theatrical fake blood sitting inside David Burke's garage. Prosecutors have not yet publicly stated precisely how this factors into their case. But the fact that it was found, the fact that it was documented, the fact that it was introduced into this hearing as evidence, means it matters. It means that somewhere in the story of what happened inside that garage, fake blood plays a role that prosecutors intend to explain to a jury. And that jury is coming. Because on day 5 of the preliminary hearing, the judge ruled, enough evidence exists. This case is going to trial. But let me tell you what happened in the days before that ruling. Because the testimony inside that courtroom revealed not just what happened to Celeste, but how far both sides are prepared to go when this reaches a full jury. On day 3, the hearing itself opened with drama. A reporter was removed from the courtroom by the judge for violating live transmission rules. No warnings. No second chances. Removed. Because the judge understood what was at stake. Nobody in that room wanted anything to jeopardize this case. Nobody wanted a mistrial. Nobody wanted a technicality to let this case fall apart before it reached a verdict. Private investigator Steve Fisher, who had been publicly vocal about the case and had been hired by the property owner where Burke had been staying near where the Tesla was found, was excluded from the preliminary hearing witness list. The Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman stated in court that Fisher had violated grand jury secrecy rules. He stood up. He acknowledged the request. He walked out without argument. His testimony, prosecutors indicated, would come at trial if the case moved forward. Finance Director Benjamin Gregor, a business associate connected to Burke's management through an entity called Mogul Vision, testified about David Burke's finances, about the record deal, about how much money Burke was making, about how that money flowed through multiple people. But on cross-examination, his testimony began to fall apart. Deputy Day Beth Silverman confronted him with transcripts from secret grand jury testimony he had given months earlier. His answers did not just misalign with what he had previously said. They directly contradicted it. She asked him multiple times which version of his testimony was accurate. His courtroom version or his grand jury version. He became combative, evasive, and the courtroom watched a witness visibly struggling with the weight of what he did or did not want to say under oath. When a witness changes their story on the stand, one question follows them out of that room. Who have they been talking to since the last time they testified? On day 4, the deputy medical examiner, Dr. Grant Ho, took the stand. Celeste's parents, who had sat in that courtroom every single day through 5 days of graphic evidence, got up and left before he began his testimony. They stood in the courthouse hallway. They could not hear what was about to be described. They had already seen the photographs. They had already seen the evidence from the Tesla. They had already endured more than any parents should ever be asked to endure. And they made the only decision available to them. They stepped outside. What Dr. Grant Ho described was the autopsy he conducted on September 10, 2025. 2 days after her body was found. When her remains were weighed, they came to 71 pounds. He testified about the advanced state of decomposition, about skin slippage, about tissue breakdown, about insect activity, about the beginning stages of what decomposition does to a human body over months in a sealed space. He testified that the cause and manner of death was homicide. He attributed her death to multiple penetrating injuries. But here is where the defense began building what may become their argument at trial. Dr. Ho could not definitively identify what type of weapon caused those penetrating injuries. He could not say she was stabbed, because the decomposition had altered the wounds beyond certainty. He could not say which wound came first. He could not say how long she suffered. He could not say with absolute certainty exactly how Celeste Rivas Hernandez died, because someone allegedly worked very hard to make sure he never could. Then the defense asked something that caused an audible reaction in that courtroom. Something that made reporters look at each other. Something that made eyebrows raise across the gallery. Defense attorney Marilyn Bednarski asked Dr. Ho directly whether he could rule out that Celeste may have inflicted those wounds on herself. He said based on his findings from the autopsy alone, he could not definitively rule that out. The courtroom reacted. You could feel it. People shifting in their seats. Glances exchanged. The weight of that question hanging in the air. Because what the defense was laying the groundwork for in that moment was a narrative. That she came there willingly. That something happened inside that house that Burke did not cause. That what followed, the body bags, the chainsaws, the fake name, the Amazon orders, the 11 air fresheners, was panic. Not planning. But the prosecutors had already shown the courtroom the timeline. The shovel ordered the morning after. Chainsaws on May 1st, body bag on May 5th, burn cage on July 7th. 3 separate drives toward Santa Barbara. A phone that vanished. A chainsaw that was ordered and delivered and never found again. A girl's fingers removed from her hands to hide a tattoo. Panic does not have an Amazon order history. Panic does not create a fake identity. Panic does not place 11 air fresheners inside a trunk over weeks and months. That is not panic. That is a plan. 2 of the chainsaws found in David Burke's garage during a search 1 week after Celeste's body was discovered tested negative for blood. The LAPD criminalist who conducted the testing was clear in her testimony. If those chainsaws had been used for dismemberment, there would have been no way to clean them to the point where no forensic trace remained. The fact that they tested negative meant they were not the tools used. But there was another chainsaw. A Makita brand chainsaw ordered online and delivered to Burke's house in the weeks after Celeste died. It was never found, not during the search of the house. Not at any other location. Not anywhere investigators have been able to locate. That chainsaw, ordered under the fake name, delivered to that address, existed in a package tracking record and then disappeared entirely. And while all of this testimony was unfolding over 5 days in a Los Angeles courtroom, David Anthony Burke sat at the defense table in an orange LA County Jail uniform. Hair grown out, unshaven, black glasses, arms folded, staring straight ahead. Not reacting. Courtroom sketch artist Mona Edwards, who sat in the jury box facing him directly, told reporters he looked like he was on another plane. Completely disengaged. Not reacting to photographs of Celeste's remains. Not reacting to DNA testimony. Not reacting to the medical examiner describing what was left of a 14-year-old girl who once had his name on her finger. Reporters covering the hearing described his demeanor with one word: sociopathic. He spoke only twice across 5 days of testimony. Yes, Your Honor. I understand. That was all. The man who allegedly ordered a shovel the morning after. The man who allegedly created a fake identity to buy the tools to destroy a child's body. The man who allegedly placed 11 air fresheners on top of her remains and kept driving to concerts and album launch parties. That man sat in that courtroom and stared straight ahead, and felt nothing that any person in that room could see. Now let me tell you about the 2 people who felt everything. Celeste's parents, Mercedes and her father, sat in that courtroom every day. Private people. People who had never been in the public eye before any of this. People who had been filing missing persons reports since February 2024. People who had been trying to find their daughter for over a year while she was gone and then found again and then gone again. A reporter who sat near them described watching them shrink into themselves when the photographs appeared on that projector screen, moving closer together, holding onto each other in a room full of strangers while images of what was left of their daughter were displayed on a screen for the court. On the day the projector briefly and accidentally flipped through autopsy photographs out of sequence, before the testimony had even reached that point, the courtroom gasped. An audible, involuntary reaction from reporters, from spectators, from people who see difficult things for a living. And those photographs were of Celeste. Her torso, her chest cavity, her extremities cleaned and laid out on a silver examination table. Photographs that no parent should ever see. Photographs that Celeste's parents had already seen once and would now have to see again. And they showed up every morning anyway. Because she was their daughter. Because she was 14 years old. Because she had braces. Because she deserved someone to sit in that room for her. On September 7, 2025, just one day before workers at that tow yard made the call that broke this case open, Celeste Rivas Hernandez would have turned 15 years old. She never made it. David Anthony Burke is going to trial. He faces first-degree murder, continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14, unlawful mutilation of human remains, murder for financial gain as a special circumstance. The death penalty is on the table. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office has not yet confirmed whether they will pursue it. His parents and his brother were subpoenaed by the District Attorney's Office. They fought those subpoenas in Texas courts. They argued they should not have to travel to California. They resisted, which means prosecutors believe his own family knows something about what happened in that Hollywood Hills house in the spring of 2025. Weeks after Celeste's body was found in that Tesla, Burke's management team vacated the Hollywood Hills property. Movers photographed hauling boxes out of the $20,000 a month home. The lease was broken. The house was emptied. The question of what may have been removed from that property in the time between Celeste's death in April and the discovery of her body in September is one that has not been fully answered. The trial has not yet started. There are details in this case that have not yet been made public. There are witnesses who have not yet taken the stand in front of a jury. There is a chainsaw that has never been found. There are 2 fingers that have never been recovered. And there is a girl from Lake Elsinore who was 14 years old, who got into an Uber on the night of April 23, 2025, who had a whole life and a pair of braces and a name tattooed on her finger, and who never came home. Celeste Rivas Hernandez deserved better than what happened to her. She deserved to turn 15. She deserved to get those braces off and smile at the camera. She deserved to grow up and walk away from everything that was hurting her and never look back. The very least we can do now is make sure the world never forgets her name. If this video hit you the way this case hit me, I need you to do one thing before you leave. Hit that like button right now. And subscribe to Darkness of Beneath Crimes. Because this trial has not started. Because every new development in this case will be covered on this channel. Because we will be here for every witness, every piece of evidence, every moment of that trial, going deeper than anyone else is willing to go. This channel exists so that cases like this are never forgotten. So that girls like Celeste are never forgotten. We are just getting started.